Can I play for food? That's all she asked. Just 6 words. But the laughter that followed, the cruelty, the sneers, the cameras raised to humiliate her. None of them knew the truth. None of them knew that the quiet black woman they mocked on the cold city streets had once been a prodigy, a pianist whose fingers could make an entire concert hall fall silent, a woman whose talent had once been whispered about in the same breath as legends. They thought she was worthless. They thought she was nothing. But they had no idea they were mocking a storm. It was winter in Chicago, wind sharp enough to cut through bone, snow slush black by passing tires. On the corner of 5th and Lexington, she sat, a woman wrapped in rags, her hair hidden under a frayed beanie, her eyes cast low. Beside her, a cardboard sign. Hungry. Can I play for food? A keyboard, scratched and weather-worn, leaned against the wall beside her. People passed without looking. Others muttered under their breath. Some dropped coins, not out of kindness but out of pity. But then came the laughter. 3 college students, drunk from a nearby bar, spotted her. They were privileged, loud, and cruel. Play for food? One of them snorted. Lady, you're sitting in trash bags. What are you going to play, hot cross buns? Another one whipped out his phone. Nah, let her play. I need something for TikTok. Homeless Beethoven. This'll go viral. They shoved the keyboard toward her, mocking. Go on, maestro. Earn your crumbs. The woman looked up for the first time. Her eyes, dark, steady, almost frightening in their calm, met theirs. And in a voice quiet but firm, she said, Do you want me to play? They laughed harder. Yeah, play. Let's see it. She nodded slowly. Her fingers, pale from cold, hovered over the keys. And then she played. The first notes were soft, almost hesitant. But within seconds, the sound shifted, rolling, powerful, precise. A melody that didn't belong on a cracked street corner, but in a grand concert hall. Her fingers moved with impossible speed, each note sharp as glass yet smooth as silk. The crowd that had gathered fell silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. The college boys stared, their smirks fading. This wasn't a homeless woman fumbling for food. This was mastery. And yet, why was she here? Why did someone with such raw, undeniable talent live on the streets, begging strangers for scraps? It didn't add up. By the time she finished, the air was heavy. People clapped. Some cried. Others pulled out money, stuffing bills into her cup. But the 3 college students weren't satisfied. Okay, so you can play, the leader sneered. Doesn't mean you ain't trash. If you were that good, why are you out here begging? The woman's gaze locked on him. For the first time, her voice carried weight. Because people like you took everything from me. The crowd gasped. The students froze. And before anyone could speak again, a man from the back pushed forward. An older man in a long coat, his eyes wide with disbelief. I know you, he whispered. My God, it's you. The woman flinched. Her hands trembled. The crowd murmured. What did he mean? Who was she? The man pulled off his gloves, stepping closer. Years ago, Carnegie Hall. You were on stage. They called you. Stop. Her voice was sharp, almost desperate. But it was too late. The name was out. Serena Miles. The crowd gasped. The name spread like fire through dry grass. Serena Miles, the prodigy who had vanished 10 years ago. The girl who had been hailed as the next great pianist of her generation, until she disappeared without a trace. The homeless woman lowered her head, tears glinting in her eyes. And the college boys who had mocked her, their faces turned pale, because they had just humiliated a legend. As the crowd swarmed, asking questions, offering food, demanding answers, Serena tried to back away. But then someone shouted, If you're really Serena Miles, prove it. Play the Liszt Etude, the one only she could play. All eyes turned to her. Her hands hovered over the keys again. The cold, the hunger, the shame, all of it melted away as the music poured out. Furious, flawless, alive. There was no doubt. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't a look-alike. The homeless woman was Serena Miles. But the real question wasn't who she was. It was what happened to her. As the final note rang through the winter night, Serena looked up, and that's when she saw it. Across the street, leaning against a black SUV, a man was watching her, not clapping, not smiling, just watching, his expression cold, his suit too sharp, his presence too deliberate. The moment their eyes met, he reached into his coat and spoke into a hidden earpiece. Serena froze, because she knew that man, and his presence meant only one thing. Her past, the one she'd been running from for 10 long years, had finally found her. The crowd saw a miracle that night, a homeless woman revealed as a long-lost prodigy. But Serena Miles didn't see a miracle. She saw a danger, because the moment she spotted the man across the street, the one with the black SUV and the earpiece, her heart froze. He wasn't a stranger. He was a shadow from her past, and his presence meant that the life she had been hiding from, the one she thought she had buried forever, was about to come roaring back. Serena's hand shook as she pushed her keyboard back against the wall, clutching her meager cup of coins and bills. The crowd still clapped, begged her for more, but she was already moving, slipping through the alley, pulling her ragged coat tighter around her. The man didn't follow at first. He didn't need to. She knew how they operated. Quiet, patient, predators who never rush, because they always caught their prey. Her breath fogged the air as she ran, but in her mind, a single thought pulsed like a drum. They found me. 10 years earlier, Serena had been unstoppable. Born in the south side of Chicago, raised by a single mother, she discovered a piano in the basement of a church. By 6, she was playing Beethoven. By 9, she was performing Mozart with flawless speed. Her talent drew attention. Sponsors, managers, agents. At 15, she became the youngest black pianist to headline at Carnegie Hall. Headlines called her a once-in-a-century genius. But with fame came shadows. Powerful people wanted her not just for her music, but for control. Sponsors turned into manipulators. Contracts turned into cages. And then came the man in the suit, the same kind of man watching her now. His name was never spoken publicly, but behind the curtains, he ran one of the most powerful music management firms in the world. He approached Serena after her biggest performance, offering a deal that promised global fame. But her mother read the contract, and what she found was terrifying. Serena would lose ownership of her work, her life, her freedom. They refused. And from that day, Serena's life unraveled. Concerts canceled. Sponsors pulled out. Reporters whispered scandals that weren't true. And then, her mother died in a car accident that the police called unfortunate. But Serena knew better. She vanished that week. Now, 10 years later, Serena ducked into a church basement. The same kind where she had first touched the piano. The same place she sometimes slept when the streets were too dangerous. She sat in the dark, clutching her knees, listening for footsteps outside. And she remembered his words, the last time she saw that man in the suit. You can run, Serena, but you can't hide forever. Sooner or later, you'll play for us or you won't play at all. Her stomach twisted. She had chosen not at all. But now, they found her again. By morning, Serena thought she might slip back into invisibility, but she was wrong. The video of her performance had already gone viral. The same college students who mocked her uploaded it online with the caption, "We found a homeless Beethoven." Millions watched. The name Serena Miles trended worldwide. And suddenly, she was no longer invisible. The same boys came looking for her the next night, cameras in hand, desperate for part 2 of their viral moment. "Come on, play again," they laughed. "We'll get you food this time, promise." But when they saw the look in her eyes, wild, terrified, desperate, they stopped. "Yo, what's wrong with her?" She whispered, "You shouldn't have filmed me." They frowned. "What do you mean? We made you famous again." She shook her head, tears in her eyes. "You don't understand. You've signed my death warrant." Across the street, the black SUV waited again. This time, the man stepped out, his coat buttoned, his shoes polished, his expression calm as ice. He approached slowly, his voice smooth, almost kind. "Serena, you played beautifully as always. The world has missed you." She backed away. Stay away from me." He smiled faintly. 10 years. 10 years you've lived like this. Cold, hungry, forgotten. And for what? Pride. The college boys watched, confused. "Hey man, who are you?" The man's eyes flicked toward them. "Leave." But they didn't. They stayed, recording, thinking it was all still performance. The man sighed, reached into his pocket, and Serena's blood ran cold. But instead of a weapon, he pulled out a folded contract. Crisp, clean, the same kind of paper that had haunted her dream for years. "Sign," he said softly. "One signature and your life changes. Hotels instead of alleys. Stages instead of sidewalks. Millions will adore you again. All you have to do is play." Serena's hands trembled. The college boys laughed nervously. "Yo, is this like a prank show or something?" But Serena's eyes burned with fury. She slapped the papers from his hand. "You killed my mother. I'll never sign." The man didn't flinch. He simply bent, picked up the papers, dusted them off. "Be careful, Serena. You don't want history repeating itself." That night, as Serena tried to sleep in the church basement, she was jolted awake by sirens. Police lights flooded the stained glass windows. Officers stormed inside. "Serena Miles, you're under arrest." She froze. "What? For what?" The officer shoved a paper in her face. Fraud, theft, multiple outstanding warrants. Her mind reeled. None of it was true. But then she saw it. The signature at the bottom of the document. Her name, perfectly forged. The man in the suit had framed her. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists. The college boy's video of her arrest spread online instantly. The world that had just rediscovered her now believed she was a criminal. As she was shoved into the back of the police car, Serena looked up through the glass. And there he was, the man in the suit, standing on the curb, smiling faintly. He raised a single finger, pointed it at her, and mouthed the words she could read even through the glass. "You will play." The door slammed. The car drove off into the night. And Serena Miles's nightmare had only just begun. They framed her. They dragged her away in chains. And now Serena Miles, once hailed as a genius, sat behind steel bars, her life stripped away, her name smeared, her talent turned into a weapon against her. But prison was not the end. It was only the beginning, because the people who wanted her back on stage were not finished yet. The metal door slammed shut. Serena sat on the hard bench, her mind spinning, her wrists still raw from the cuffs. Around her, voices echoed, women shouting, guards laughing, the clank of keys. She whispered to herself, "This isn't real. This can't be real." But it was. The charges were everywhere. Paperwork, signatures, witnesses she had never met, crimes she had never committed. The man in the suit had painted her as a thief who had stolen millions in grant money meant for struggling musicians. She wanted to scream, but then she heard it. From the other side of the bars, a voice. Low, calm, deliberate. "You don't belong here, Serena, but you know that already." She turned and froze. A woman sat in the shadows of the next cell, tall, poised, with piercing green eyes. Unlike the others, she did with a standard orange uniform. Her clothes were plain but too neat, too clean. "Who are you?" Serena asked, her voice cracking. The woman smiled faintly. "A friend, or at least I could be. My name is Catherine, and let's just say, I know who framed you." Serena's chest tightened. The man in the suit? Catherine tilted her head. "Ah, so you've met him. Then you already know he doesn't lose." Serena clenched her fists. "I'm not signing anything. Not now, not ever." Catherine's smile faded. "Be careful. That kind of talk can get you killed in here." That night, as the prison lights dimmed and the world outside went silent, Catherine leaned closer to the bars. "They call him Mr. Armitage, but that's not his real name. He runs more than music contracts. He runs people. Whole careers. Whole lives. The stars you see on stage, half of them owe everything to him. The other half, well, let's just say they don't last very long." Serena swallowed hard. Why me? Catherine's eyes narrowed. Because you're special. Because the music isn't just talent, it's power. And he doesn't let power slip away. Serena's skin crawled. Power? Catherine only whispered. You'll see. Outside the prison, the college boys would film Serena wrestle with guilt. Their video had gone viral, yes. But now millions believe Serena was a fraud and a criminal. They tried to release another video, swearing she was innocent, but it was drowned in a flood of fake accounts, articles, and news segments, all planted to bury Serena deeper. And then one of the boys disappeared. His friends got a text. Stop asking questions. She's where she belongs. 2 weeks later, Serena was escorted out of her cell, not to court, but to a stage. Yes, a stage. Hidden deep inside the prison was a room she had never seen before. Spotlights, a grand piano, an audience of wealthy men and women dressed in black, their faces half hidden by masks. Her blood turned cold. This wasn't a trial. This was a show. Mr. Armitage stood at the piano, smiling. Play for them, Serena. Play like you did at Carnegie. Or, these walls will be your coffin. She shook her head, tears stinging her eyes. You can't force me. Armitage leaned closer, whispering so only she could hear. Do you remember your mother's accident? Do you really think it was random? Play, Serena, or others will pay the same price. Her hands trembled as they hovered above the keys. And then she played. The notes poured out, not with joy, not with freedom, but with anguish. Beethoven twisted into something darker, Chopin dripping with sorrow. The masked audience leaned forward, enchanted, their eyes glittering. Serena felt the chains tighten with every note. Her gift, once pure, now corrupted. When the last chord thundered, the room erupted in applause. Armitage stepped forward, kissed her hand like a conqueror, and whispered, See, you were always mine. Back in her cell, Serena collapsed, shaking. But Catherine was waiting. You see now, Catherine whispered. This isn't about fame. It's about control. They feed on the music. It keeps them powerful. It keeps them young. Serena's eyes widened. That's insane. Catherine leaned closer, her voice urgent. Then why do you think they keep finding prodigies like you? Why do you think some stars burn bright and vanish before 30? He doesn't just own your talent. Serena, he consumes it. Serena's stomach turned. You're lying. Catherine smiled faintly. Am I? The next day, Serena was summoned again, but this time not to play, to testify. She was dragged into a hidden courtroom, cameras flashing. The charges against her, fraud, theft, even identity scams, were read aloud. And to her horror, the prosecution's key witness stepped forward. Her jaw dropped. It was Catherine, the woman who whispered secrets in the night, the one who pretended to be her ally. She looked Serena in the eyes and said, Yes, I saw her forge the papers. I saw her steal. She bragged about it. The courtroom gasped. Serena's heart shattered. As guards dragged her back, broken and furious, Armitage stepped into the hallway. His smirk was sharper than ever. You trusted her? He asked, almost laughing. Oh, Serena, you're brilliant on the piano, but naive everywhere else. Don't worry. After the trial, after the sentence, you'll have nothing left. And then you'll finally play for me willingly. Serena spat at his feet. I will never play for you again. He leaned close, his whisper colder than death. You already have. And with that, the guard slammed the door. The lights flickered. And in the darkness, Serena heard the faint sound of a piano, even though no one was there. Her breath caught. Her body froze. Was the music inside her head? Or had they already stolen it from her? Kindly support our channel. Like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories.